we're going to look today at Sage Construction Project Center, obviously. We're going to look at document management and bid management, also project management, and the cost management piece, and also the mobile app as well. So you'll get to see a full idea of what Sage Construction Project Center can do. Not going to go into a lot of detail, but a high-level overview. So just so you kind of know where we're headed. If you do want to see detail, please let us know either at the end of the presentation or another way, and we can get that more detailed view for you. With that, jump right into things here. So this is Sage Construction Project Center, and I am going to go back here to the home screen. I have several projects here that are my favorites over here on the left. So first of all, Sage Construction Project Center is a cloud-based, so if you can access your browser, you can get the project information. It is a collaborative platform, so it's a way for you to reach out and collaborate with subs, and architects, engineers, owner, and others, and it's really, that's what it's designed for. A little bit different than the Sage Project Management module, which is a little more internal. This is more external and collaborative focused. We have different kinds of, there's a lot of security in Sage Construction Project Center, or SCPC, and so we can, I am a organization administrator, and so I see a lot of stuff, but I can dial that down so that it's just a project or administrator or a sub or an architect, and I can really start to dial things down even to a folder level where I can say certain people can see these folders and certain people can't. So there's a lot of security built into the system. You'll see that there's a video learning link up here. Here's our projects over here on the left, and I can come in here and I can start to look for all the projects that I've got. I've also got the video learning. And so there's a pretty extensive list of videos to help you get started with SCPC. And we do have learning events on Friday mornings at 9 o'clock Pacific time that will also provide some additional opportunities for learning as well. You can contact Stratus View is the name of the company that creates SCPC. They programmed it, and so this is how you can reach out to them and contact them. And then there's release notes here, so you can see the latest releases. And then Stratus Drive over here is a product that I'll talk about a little bit in just a minute. So what I'm going to do is go through these different sections. And so here's the documents down here where we're going to store plans and bid packages and things like that. We got project management up here where we can do punch lists and submittals, RFIs, daily log, meeting minutes, issues, that kind of thing. And then cost management up here as well. We'll look at all of those different areas. The reports we'll look at as we go through these different other areas. You can see that there's a like a submittals report. Well, we can look at that when we do the submittals section here. And there's a bid package report when we can generate the bid package report down here. So there's a couple ways to get to reporting as you're in the system. Start up here with project setup. So we can set defaults as we go into as we start a project. And again, these depends on what your role is, whether you see these or not. So I've got these defaults here. And these are, here's the start date and the end date, which was a while ago, the responsible architect and the GC and other information here. This is where we really get into the meat and potatoes of it, though. This is the expediting lead time. So we're going to be able to create an expediting log, or kind of like a procurement log, and in this expediting log, we'll be able to import, close out, and submittal items as we're creating the project. So what's the lead time for that? And here is cost management. The default retainage on this job is 6%. We would set that here, and then as we're doing the working through the financials pieces, it would retain 6%. We could set this to 10 or whatever we wanted to. Here are add-ons that we have for standard markups and fees that are used when we do change management. And so we've got overhead and profit and bond and insurance and others as well. And we set those here. And then what cost categories do they apply to? Labor, material, equipment, sub, or other, or overhead. And so we can start to set that up here so that when we create a change request, all of this information just automatically flows into it. Here's our default RFI folders, default response time. And where are we going to put those responses? Into the subcontractor or contract folder. And I'll discuss this a little more when we actually get into the RFIs. But know for here that we can start to restrict access to individual folders. So subs could see this folder here and the contract, but the architect could see a different set of folders, maybe is how we want to organize it. Here's the submittal process, the processing time, the default time for resubmittal, and who do they go to? The project manager and the reviewing company to the project manager in the reviewing company. So we have transmittals that we're going to use to track the in and out traffic of our submittals, and so we can what folders do we want those to be in? The transmittal default folders, document previews. We're going to allow document storage. We are going to allow Stratus Drive or not. We'll talk about Stratus Drive in just a second. Pretty cool feature. And then we've got other things here as well. So the first thing you might do is go in and set these defaults for a project. Let's go back here to, I'm going to switch projects on us because Willow Creek has my documents in it. And so once we've set, other things we can set in the project setup, we can do lists. So I, as an organization administrator, I see these lists. Many places in the system will have lists, and we can customize those lists to the kind of work that we want to do. And we can even customize them to a particular job or region or something like type of work, etc. So we can really dial these lists in that we see. For example, what kind of codes do we have? Are we going to store our submittals under? Is it standard CSI codes or is it something else? We can create those lists here. We can set project members. And so our project members obviously are the people involved in the project. And here are the people involved in this project. And I can add and subtract project members here from this list. And this is anybody that's going to be involved in the project going forward. It could be the person I'm sending change requests or change orders to at the owner's level. It could be the subs. It could be all those kinds of folks are here in the project members list, and I can add and subtract people here as I need to. I can add project members. I can create new project members. I can set their role so that that role determines then what they can see and what they can do. All right, so the project members, and again, I am flying through things here a little bit, but we'll go here and back to this. The integration setup right here is where I can integrate with Sage 300 or Sage 100. And we'll talk more about that when we get into cost management, but this is where I would set that up. There is the replicator, or not the replicator, the synchronization program runs on your server and then pushes information out and pulls information in depending on what you have, which accounting system you have. We also can do more list management, or we can also do subcontractor performance evaluations if you want to evaluate your subs after the completion of the job. All right, a little drink there always helps. Now let's go down here to documents. Let's start down here. I want to go first to plans. And so this is where we can store, obviously, plans. And so we can start to set up folders. And so SCPC is folder driven, both for security and for just access and things like that. So we can create folders. I can create new folders here, but we've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders. And so here in the architectural folder, I have these different drawings here. And so these are I've already uploaded these into the system. And so if I look at this second floor plan, I can see that here is the kind of the background or the history of that second floor plan. And you can see that the original is down here, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 revisions to that original. The latest revision is always stored on top, and so I can still get to those other revisions here in the in this view of the document. And I can add a new revision. I can edit it or copy it. I can also print reports about it or the documents here. And so I've got things, the ways I can work with the different documents. They're easy to upload. I can, again, going up here into the architectural folder, and I've got these up here, these tabs. Here's a new folder, a new document, notifications. That's down here. I've got folder reviewers. And so I've got Deanna White and myself here as folder reviewers. That means that anytime, notice what it says here, right here, anytime documents are changed or updated in this folder, I get a notification. I get an email. Very handy and automatic. And so once you set up a folder reviewer, you're good to go, and they will be notified anytime there's a change, not only in the plans folder, but in other folders as well. I can put sketches on attach sketches to a drawing. I can send out notifications kind of more manually. And excuse me, I can even set up subfolders. So if I had architectural and then I wanted to divide it up by maybe floor plans and elevations and details, I could do that if I wanted to. And again, that's all up to me. Totally however I want to organize things is the way I can do that. I can revise it, copy it, delete it, transmit it out, and I can transmit like a drawing out to maybe a vendor or something like that. Stratus Link here, you'll notice this. This is a cool feature. It's fairly new, and so let me go back here to the plans folder, and I'll show you that's what this Porsche folder. If you notice that one, kind of not exactly, doesn't fit in that folder list there, but this is it's a Porsche dealership. And so this is the Porsche drawings set. It is a single file with multiple sheets in it. And if I view it, I get this. Now, what has happened here is you'll notice this little green link over here on the right. This project, this set of drawings has been processed using Stratus Link. And what Stratus Link does is it uses AI or artificial intelligence to go through and read the drawing set. And it says, anytime I see something that looks like a sheet number, I am going to link it. And so this says, and if I'll zoom in on this, we can all see it. If I zoom over here and down here, this is A2213. We are currently on A2101. So if I click on this link, it will jump me to A2213. I can then also use these buttons down here at the bottom to go back to where I started from. I can go up or down to the next section. There's up, there's down. I can go backwards to the next sheet, or I can go back to home. So this is the home sheet, and this is a different sheet. This is basically what I would call, it's got the sheet index on it, right, for a lot of these sheets. And so I can jump to any of these sheets. And if I jump, let's just jump to A401. Here is a building section, and I can, if I scroll through these, here is another building section, A4402. You'll notice that there is a detail bug that's got a link on it there and here in these places as well. And if I click on that link, it will jump me to that sheet and that detail. So I can find that detail. And now I can jump to this detail. And I can go back and I can go back, and then I'm where I started from. So Stratus Link, that's what Stratus Link does. it links your drawing set. And it's very cool. It's very fast too. To link this set, this is a, I don't know, 50-sheet set. It linked it in a minute, maybe two. And so it's quick, it's thorough, and it's accurate. I have not seen any issues with misdirected sheets or things like that. So it is a great way to do this, and the linking is also available on the mobile app. So Stratus Link is a cool feature that would be great for you to take advantage of. All right, let's go back to documents here, because the next thing, just again quickly want to make sure we get through stuff here, is bid packages. And so you can create bid packages however you want to create them, whether it's one bid package for the whole job or multiple bid packages, maybe one for steel, one for early site work, whatever you want to do. And so here is a bid package. Again, the name of the bid package, when it's due, and you can see that that's due a long time ago, but I can change that easily enough. And I'll just go to July. Let's just go here. Oh, there we go. Let's go back here to June 5th, 2020. And then I'll be able to save that when I get out of this. But here we have who is the project manager, project estimator, assistant, and this person receives email responses. Responsible project manager is the person who sends them out. But down here we have bid coverage. And so if I click on this bid coverage, I'm going to expand all, it'll take just a minute for it to expand out. We can see the number of people we've invited, here you go, and what their bid intent is. So if we look on this first line here, we can see Sparky's Electrical by Al Anderson is the contact. The ITB was sent, and he will be bidding it. So we know that we have at least one guy bidding electrical. If we go down here to 3120 or 00 earth moving, we have two bidding. One has not answered, but but one will bid. You'll notice this one says yes, he will bid, but we didn't send him an invitation to bid. That's because I can come in here and I could edit the bidder info, and I could say that this person will bid it. Oh, not that one. Let's go in here and bidder reply. There we go. Wrong button. So this one, I can say they will bid these three CSI divisions or sections. Talk to them on the phone. Will bid. Recorded there. Recorded here on the grid. So you can see what kind of coverage you have. This is a very short bid list. Obviously, there's a lot of not answered, and there's an invitation to bid sent. One's tentative. A couple are yes. And so then I've got this, I can see what I've got going. Coverage-wise, these are the folders that I've given people access to: architectural, division 3 specs, and structural. And so I've got those folders here, and I can also include documents as well. Maybe there's bid instructions. Maybe there's a specific bid form that I want to include, and so I can do that. I've got bidder status here that I can look at. There's different tabs up here. I can will bid or will not bid or tentative. I can send out addenda, create an addenda, and include the documents, and everybody will get notified of that addenda. Send options. Do I want to email, send it, or user preference? If you got some guys up here in the Northwest, some people are still on fax, and so we can send those out to them via fax if we need to. And we can also download with and without indexing, which just means it's organized. And then we can also print reports. And so let's print a report here just to show you that there is a bid package report. And I'm going to print the detail. And I want just bid packages. And I'm going to say all of them. And I want to print it. So it's going to pop this up, and it's going to print here. So these are all the reports in SCPC are based on Crystal reports. And when you sign up for SCPC, we will give you all of these reports if you would like them, and you can customize them as you see fit. and then we'll upload them into the system. So this is the standard that comes with it, with your logo and the project and the region there. And here are this is bid package 001, which is the one we were looking at. And here's our bid coverage for that. There's bid package 02 and on down the line, and I've got bid package 3, and there's a 4th one here as well. So reports, we'll give you those reports. You can customize them as you want. Let's go back here to Willow Creek, and I want to go back to the bid packages. I want to show you another feature here that I just discovered recently. That is bid package number 2. And if I look at bid package number 2, we will see that, hopefully, here we go, this bid package is disabled. And that kind of freaked me out when I first saw it, to be honest, but because I thought, well, what's going on here? But the reason it's disabled is because this bid due date is more than 45 days ago. Obviously, this is more than just a couple days more than a year ago. So that's why this bid package was automatically disabled by the system. I can enable it by just clicking this enable, and we're back in business. But that is a nice security feature in SCPC2 that make sure that you just don't have a bunch of old projects just hanging out there for people to get access to. It's been automatically disabled. All right, let's go back here to Willow Creek again, because that's kind of what I wanted to give you the high overview on documents. We've looked at a report. We'll look at some more here as we jump into project management. And so start with issues. And so issues are kind of halfway between maybe an R. I just want to keep track of something. Not necessarily an RFI. I just want to keep track of it. But I do want to make sure that I don't lose track of it either. And so just scroll, there we go. So it's kind of between an RFI, maybe a closeout item. And so I can follow these along as I go. And so I've got new issues here. And so this is an issue here, sidewalk at the north property line. And there, again, I can organize them. Here's what an issue looks like. And this will look really familiar. The issue, the fields are very similar, and the format looks very similar to both an RFI and a submittal cover and the transmittal as well. Generally, the required fields are on the left and optional fields are on the right. So I can say that I've got who it's from and to, and the subject line. You can see that is required with the asterisk. There's no due date. It was closed on the 12th of June in last year. Its status is closed. That's important as well. Here's the amount. North property line not show. City inspector said including it was part of the permit approval. And so then I can have the discussion. And so I can see back and forth with the architect if I want to. And so I can send it to Deanna White. Deanna White commented back through the process that the most current version of C2.5 is attached. I can say, really, so I need to revised estimate forthcoming. And I can send that reply to the architect, and she will get that as well. And so I can start to go back and forth with an issue as I need to. And so issues are ways, again, that we can just track things that are not, that we just want to track them before they become bigger deals than an RFI. But we can, of course, create RFIs here. And so there's an RFI. And again, you're going to see that we can organize, as we can organize issues by subfolders, we can organize RFIs by subfolders if we so desire. We don't have to. This one's organized by contractor and field, and so this one is my general contractor folder. And how about the planting at the front entry? And so if I click on that one, it will load that, and here we go. So you notice it looks really similar to the issue, just a little bit more here. Why did the reason, the action, and when it was submitted and the due date. Over here is the additional information, and you'll see the reference, the drawing number, and other things as well. And planting shows plants, and the electrical shows a transformer. Please provide direction. The LA, so the landscape architect will make the adjustments in the field. Notice that I can have CC users here. So this is this has an electrical transformer, and so I want to CC Al Anderson. He may not be directly involved in the answer to this, but I want to just CC him so he knows what's going on. And so I've got him CC'd on this RFI. So that's a nice feature, especially maybe the owner wants to be CC'd on all RFIs that are coming in. So okay, that you can CC the owner as well. When I do get an answer like this, I would mark that as selected as an answer, and I can either close this RFI, especially if there's no cost implications to it, or I can create a PCO right here from the RFI, which is a really handy thing to have, because if I create that PCO from here, then all of the documentation for the RFI will flow into the PCO, and I'll have those attachments available as well as documentation for why did I create this potential change order. So here's kind of the workflow that we might have on an RFI. I can submit it. It creates a transmittal and emails the RFI. I can copy it to another folder if I want to create the RFI and back and forth with the architect on the RFI response. And then once I get the response, I can copy it to another folder that my superintendent has access to, for example. So that my superintendent isn't bothered with all the back and forth to the architect. He just gets it when it's, I got an answer for him. Or I can distribute it to other people as well. And so a lot you can do with an RFI here. And let's see, if I go here, I'm going to do something here real quickly and drag this over here because I want to show you that we get, we can do, oh yeah, let's see here. I am going to go to over here on this other screen. Forgive me for my, this glitch here. I want to say it's, okay, so this is the email. I'm bringing up the email account for our architect. So this is Deanna White. And so here's that issue that we just said, and we replied to it. And we said we've received a reply to the issue. And so this is the architect. This is what the architect is going to see. So she can go to the sidewalk at the north property line, issue number 001, and it will take her to this issue right there. Okay, so it just takes her right into it, and she can respond to it right there. I'm going to close out of that because I don't want to get messed up with different securities and logins and all of this kind of thing. You'll notice that she clicked on the link as Deanna. I clicked on the link and it took me right to the issue. You can control that access with security. So you don't need to say, you can control, say, well, Deanna can't get in unless she logs in because this is a government project and secure logins are required. Okay, no problem. We can set that in the project, and anybody, owner, architect, engineer, sub, would have to log in to get access to the project. Or you could make it nice and easy like I had here, and the architect can just drill right into the project right there. Okay, so she's going to get those kinds of emails. There is a new RFI from a while ago, and she can reply to the RFI. She can download it, or she can go to the RFI in the system, whatever she wants to do here from her email. And so there is that. I'm going to go over here. We can do very similar responses are available for the subs. So I'm going to log out of that one, and here's Al. I'm going to log in as my buddy Al Anderson, because Al is going to be able to, here is, there's an invitation to bid a job that Al would see. So this is what Al sees from in his email from SCPC, and he can say, I'm going to bid, I might bid, I will not bid for this particular project. Those two, and here's the sections or the divisions, CSI sections that he's going to bid. He can access the document, or he can go to, and again, we can control what Al can and cannot do based on project security. All right. I also get responses from these folks when they come into the system, so there's that as well. All right, let's keep going here. And so we've got, let's see, sorry, submittals. And so submittals are, we can manage the submittal process here in SCPC, and we can file them as we need to. There's subfolders that we can create. So I've got Division 3 concrete and Division 8 openings. And then here is, I'll show you the Division 8 openings. And I've got, there is a submittal package. So we can create folders, and within those folders, we can create packages if we want to. We don't have to. We can create, just create them right there without creating folders, whatever you want to do. And so here are the individual items within this submittal package, 08, 11, 13, hollow metal doors and frames. These are the individual items. And if I click on this, again, you'll see a very similar kind of thing here that looks pretty familiar. Submittal item, required fields on the left, optional fields on the right. Notes. I can attach documents here. If I want to attach a folder or a file to an individual item, I could do that. In my experience, what people do is they attach documents at the package level. And so there are, you can attach documents here as well as at the item level, whatever you want to do. To attach a document is easy. You can just drag and drop it here into this area. You can see that I've got the doors, and here's the original door that I submitted, and there's the door that the architect reviewed. If I want to see that, I can open it with Acrobat, and it would display it for me. And there's the review with review stamp, and it's got it circled, and the whole deal that the architect does when they review things. And so there's that. So you can follow this through the process, and what you can also do is set up workflow. And so here's workflow for this particular, and it just says that the originator is myself. I'm going to initiate it as well. It's going to go to Deanna for review, and it's going to come back to me, and I'm going to approve it in our office. And so workflow, you can set up workflow for submittals, for RFIs, for even change events in cost, in the cost management side of things. And workflow will allow you to at least set these up so that you know where it is in the process. You can see that this has just been originated here on the 15th of January of last year. And so you can manage a workflow that you need to manage the submittals. It's not that it stops the submittal process. I could initially, I think I can jump from initiator to approver, but it does at least have that in there, and you can see where it is in the process. And I created everything on the same day back in January of last year. One of the things here too with submittals is, so I can, one of the things is submittals, you know, people can have a lot of submittals. I worked with a customer last year that would have 7,000 submittals as they worked on a bridge. And so how can, you know, going through and creating individual submittal items would be a royal pain in the neck. And so we don't have to do that. We can use the Expediting Log feature to import both submittal and closeout items. And so here's submittals. And I can I have this submittal one, just expediting log, and so this is what I brought in, and there we are. So there's the openings, and there is the those are the doors that I brought in for that particular submittal. Those are the submittal items that I brought in, and then I put them in a submittal package. This is the import where we could get the items. We would bring the items in. This is the spreadsheet that it looks like. This is what I import. And so you can see I can set the division and the description, CSI code, number, description. This is what the system requires to work. So I can bring items in as either submittal items or closeout items. And so it would make it much easier to get those items into your system using an Excel import. And you notice that I can adjust them and approve them, or you can see that these are all, status is all converted to submittal. And if I drill down here into electrical, and if I drill down to this one, there is an actual item, an expediting log item, and so I can expedite the information import into the system that way. Let's go back here to project management. You can see I can also do closeout items as well. Transmittals, we're going to transmit things out to other folks, and we're going to keep track of those here in the transmittals log. We can also create daily logs, and we can create meeting minutes as well. We'll look at logs here. I've got daily logs, there's my reports, and I can, again, organize these by subfolder. Maybe I have 2 foremen on a job that are doing daily reports, or maybe I've got a particular, maybe I've got 2 superintendents, one for this kind of work and one for that kind of work. I don't know, whatever, however you have it organized. And if I say, here's Tuesday's submittal, daily log. So here is who created it and when they created it, and here's the weather. The weather automatically comes in based on the zip code of the project. I can update that if I want to. I can also enter my own weather information. I can reload it. I can edit it. Here's some of the additional information we did with comments and deliveries of equipment and visitors. And here are, let's look at the activities. Let's see, it's not what I want to look at. So let's go back here to daily logs, and let's look at a different day, because I think I want to look at this one right here. So this one has the same information. Okay, here is the activity. So this is a sub ABC paving and Cancun concrete and earthwork services. Here's what they did on this day. And so I can see that, you know, one person worked for, 1 foreman for 8 hours and 2 laborers for 6 hours. And then I can say, what did they do? They did earthwork. And so I can edit these if I want to by clicking this little pencil over here. And if I needed to change that, I can come down here, and here's what they did. They mobilized their equipment. So that's what, you know, it gets your information in there for a daily log. You can add attachments, maybe a sign-in sheet or whatever for the job for that day, visitor sign-in sheet, whatever you want to do. You can add pictures and and just kind of your usual stuff that you do for daily logs. Now, we can download attachments. We can edit the weather information. What we want to do is here, we can also come back here, and I want to go back here to my reports here, because what I can do is I can take this one and I can create a new report, or I can copy this one. Makes it easy to create the next one because I can copy the yesterday's and just modify it. So it makes it easy to create new daily reports. And I can also edit these and delete them over here on the far right. And again, folders, and I can again restrict access via folder. So daily logs, and we'll get into some more features here with daily logs in just a second. We'll go back here to project management, because the last one to cover is meeting minutes. And again, meeting minutes can be organized however you want to, with or without folders. I've got an OAC folder here, and I've got a couple of meetings. We got meetings and agendas. You can create a meeting from an agenda, or you can create an agenda from a meeting, whichever way you want to do. Here's the plus button over here to create agendas, and here's the plus button over here to create meetings. So let's look at number 2, meeting number 2. And so here are the attendees. Here are the meeting minute items. And so if I go to 1, I can say that's the safety. And I can say another safe week, and we're all safe. And I can say still safe this week. Okay, so we're running a very safe job, looks like, which is good. You can say there are responsible parties. So if this is a particular item that I need to track, maybe it's a change, or it's work that needs to happen, or just making sure that I can assign a responsible party down here. I can upload documents, and I can even attach folders to access. And so I can have all of those on a meeting minute item. When I am done, I can click the next button, and it takes me to item number 2. And so this one is item number 1. There's item number 2. We are on schedule. What we can do here is we could mark this as complete. Let's say we're all done with this particular meeting item. We could mark it as complete. When I hit this next, it would skip over that one because it's complete. I don't need to work with it anymore. And so I can skip through my meeting minute items as I'm going through that particular meeting, as I'm going through that meeting. I can create issues from meeting minutes, and I can work with them that way. I've got reports that I can do. And one of the things I want to talk about too is meetings here. So meeting minutes. We can, one of the things that when I was working in the industry in the field was we'd have our weekly OAC meeting, owner, architect, contractor, and I needed to send out all the different. I wanted to make sure that everybody got the reports before the meeting, the RFI status report, the submittal logs, maybe the meeting minutes from last week. One of the things you can do in SCPC that I really like is in here in my dashboards, I can set up saved schedules. And so I can say, here's an RFI report. Let's say our OAC meeting's on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Every Monday at 1 o'clock, I want everybody to get an RFI report. And so I can do that, and the system will automatically send that RFI report out. It doesn't require any intervention from me. It just automatically goes to whoever I say it goes to, or whoever wants to get it. Let's put it that way. And so everybody is prepared for that meeting here, or for the meeting. Here's who's going to get it, whose project members were selected for this project, and I can add people and say that they will get it. And I'm going to say that's me and Deanna. And now we will get that recipient. We will get that report every. It ended a year ago, but it would come out on the every week daily every weekday at that time. So very handy feature. I like that one a lot. And so that is what we want to look at with. We'll go back here to Willow Creek. So that's what I wanted to look at with project management, with documents, with the project setup. Now I want to switch gears a little bit here and show you the mobile app. And so I'm just I've got my phone up here on another screen, and I'm going to bring this up. And so here we go. Here is my my phone. And so you're seeing my Sage group on my phone, and I go to Sage SCPC, and here are all the list of my projects that I've gotten. Way down here at the bottom is Willow Creek. I've got way too many projects on here, but there's Willow Creek. And so here's what some of the things you can do in the mobile app. And I like the mobile app. It's easy to use. It's pretty nice looking. And so here's my plans. there's the architectural folder, and there are the different drawings. And so there's A 1.3, and I can zoom in by just doing the finger, I forgot what to call that, on the screen where you spread your fingers apart, and then you can look at it, you can pan around, and you can do that. I can also, if I come here, you can see up the top, there's that pencil in the box. I can mark this up, make it a little thicker so we can see it. And now I can circle that in here. I could add some text. I could do some other kinds of editing here on the document. Now, this document stays on my phone. This document does not sync to the system online. It stays here on my phone. And so I can go back here. I can go, if I went to, let's go back here to that, and I can export the document. I can send it by email, and I can, let's go back here, and I can, nope, don't want to do that. So I can go back here. Let's look at the Porsche. Remember that linked set. So here is notice how fast that loaded. There is that link. If I tap on that, it takes me to that link. If I tap on that, it takes me to that link, and I can see what is going on there. And so again, the app does that as well. And I can go back here and I can look at the RFIs. And so there's the contractor RFIs. I can create an RFI from here as well. So we're given the ability to, we cannot, there are some things we can and some things we can't create. We can certainly create an RFI from the mobile app. We can't create a submittal, for example. That's created in the office. But I can look at, there's the RFI. Attachments, I can look at the attachments. I can add an attachment here. I can take a photo and shoot and attach that to the RFI. So the options here, I can look at the discussion back and forth. And so again, you can do this from the mobile app and back. There's meetings. Again, I noticed that I don't have the ability to create a meeting, but I can view a meeting. And so here is the meeting with the notes. And that information, I can include attachments. I can't include attachments, but I can view them. And so options with those. Daily logs, notice that I can create a daily log. And so I can, new daily log, I can create a new folder. So again, you can start to do this on your phone from the field. You do need an internet access, but it offers a lot of really pretty nice features from your mobile app in for SCPC. So that's what you can do on the mobile app. It's project management related, document related, and so you can do those kinds of things on your phone. All right, quickly, we're going to close and get this out of the way because I want to obviously look at cost management. And so we're going to switch projects because I want to look at different projects for cost management. And get set it here, and I want to do that over. I'm just managing things on another screen, and so there we go. And so cost management, SCPC syncs with both Sage 100 Contractor and Sage 300 CRE. Sage 100 pulls information from accounting only. Budget, contracts, commitments, and costs push to SCPC, and also the address book. Nothing goes back to Sage 100. So I want to make that clear. Sage 100 integration is one way from Sage 100 to SCPC. Sage 300, however, is bidirectional. You can push and pull change orders, commitments, and ARAP info. You can put information is pushed down from accounting to SCPC, but you can also read information up. It's job cost and address book information. SCPC connects with a connector that is installed in your on-prem instance of accounting. It is a minimum of every 4 hours for all projects selected to sync. So you don't have to sync your project with SCPC, only the ones you want. If you want to run 10 projects in SCPC and only sync 5, that's just fine. Connector, like I mentioned, the connector is located on your on-prem server, and you can also force it to instantaneously sync from the project beyond the standard 4-hour minimum sync. I showed you the project defaults where we can set up markups and margins, and also the project members for people that we're going to contact about, like, say, subcontracts and purchase orders and things like that. Here in the cost management, generally speaking, what we're looking at here on the left is contract information, or upstream from us to the owner or general contractor for a sub, and down here is downstream information to commitments to subs and others. I'm going to start here with the budget. And so if we look at the budget here for this particular project, we have this information here. And this is, so we have original amount. The original amount is brought in from accounting and is locked down. So I cannot change this number in SCPC. All changes are noted through the pending and approved changes. And we also have accounting approved changes, which is just kind of a double check. And you can see here that we have some approved changes here in SCPC, but accounting hasn't quite caught up to us yet in several of these. Whereas this one, we're looking pretty good. We've got a pending change, but we've approved changes, and accounting has kept up with us on that one. So we've got that. Now, the cost code, this is the budget information. The cost code overview is the same set of codes, but just a little bit different information. And so we've got that. And if I scroll down here to this one, we can see the cost codes, and I can expand this. It's a structural concrete. I've expanded that, and it'll come up here, and it will show us the detail. If I've got detail information here, and I can see the different cost categories, labor burden, material, and overtime, and the cost for the numbers associated with each one of those. Okay, so I have that information, and I can see that there's we got some approved changes, and we've got total commitments approved, approved commitment changes, and other information here. Total estimated. There we go. So I make these columns a little wider here, and I can make these column settings persist by clicking on this button here, and it would make those columns persist. And now I can change those and make it persist again. And so next time I come into that, I would see these columns in this order with these column widths. All right, back to home. Again, quick overview. And if I go to the contract information here, this is the schedule of values. And so I can, again, the original contract is pulled in from 100 or 300. Again, I can change the columns by doing this, by clicking this persist button, but I change the columns by right-clicking in there, and now I can say that I want to hide, or so if I don't have any extras, I can hide that one, or I can bring it back, and then I can make all of these persist by clicking this persist button. And so I can, so extras, I can work with extras in SCPC. So if I want to use an item or cost code multiple times, if I need to have maybe 2 phases or buildings and general conditions for each, I could see that twice here in the schedule of values. And so I can handle multiple contracts within SCPC. And if I have the multiple contracts module in Sage 300, and throughout the system, I can see the last sync time here is just a little while ago, 4:14 today at 1:03, which is just a couple hours ago. I can request this synchronization. You'll see this button throughout the system. This is that the immediate sync, so that I can sync things right up and make sure that everything is current with the syncing. All right, let's go back here to cost management. And if I go to the home, I'm seeing the same information that here. So the commitment information is where I want to go next. And so this is our, again, we're reaching to our subs and suppliers. And so I can see what the commitments, all commitments are here. If this is a particular purchase, or if this is a purchase order, I see that in this column is PO is yes. If I click on Accessories Unlimited here, I can see that this is a PO. And if I just click this off, this PO information will disappear or it can come back. And so I have that information that I can work with as well. I can transmit this out and I can work with, so I can transmit it out for review. There's the workflow. Here's the cost codes associated with this particular commitment. I've got attachments, and you can see that I've sent it out to this sub several times, or this vendor several times, and gotten replies back from them as well. And so, so we've got commitment information there. And let's go back over here to, so I've got that, let's see here. So if I do the reports, of course, I can customize those so that my commitments are what I want to see either for the job or for my company. Summary information is that overall big picture snapshot of the project. And so I can see that it's a financial snapshot. The contract amount is the contract information tab, information from the contract info tab that we already looked at. The original column over here on the left is the estimate or budget broken down by cost category, and the job to date cost here is accounting job to date is the cost to date column and the forecast column as well. And I can see that I've got my margin here, which I'm making pretty darn fine money. So kind of a quick snapshot. Cost management, I want to keep going here because we are out of time. So contract events and commitment events, this is where I can create or manage cost events, including change orders, upstream and downstream. There are 9 different types of contract events that I can use. You see 4 here. I can start anywhere I want. I can start with a PCO or a COR and push multiple into a change order, or I can just start right with a change order. Doesn't matter. An internal event is I'm moving money around, and I want to I'm not going to charge anybody for it. It's just I'm moving money from one place to another. So a COR looks like this. And I've got several of them here. Let's just look at a scope change. And so I can see here's the scope change for the COR. Here are the cost items that go with that. And so I can see that this was summarized to change order 066-1. And so it's already been marked there or processed. This release to accounting releases it to accounting so that I can, then is when it becomes available for accounting review. And then I can process this or void it up here also as part of that process of processing a contract event. Back here to change, so there's lots there that we can look at. Let's go to forecasting and pencil draws really, really quickly. Here is a pencil draw. I can create as many pencil draws as I want. And what I'm doing is looking at these 2 fields over here on the left on the right. And it's very simple math. It's just unit times unit of measure is total cost. And so I say it's 1 times $100. 1 times $100 is $100. 1 times 9052 is 9052. I could say there's 5. And now it's 42.56. So that's all I'm doing to forecast for this job, and this is forecasting cost at completion. So that's what we're working forward here. I can notice that I can also assign risk, and so that I want to say, you know what, I'm working on some underground stuff, and I know that I need to just kind of keep some money aside for unforeseen stuff. And so that would be risk. And I could say, well, maybe I've got 5% risk on this item. So it knocks this down and knocks this down just a little bit for 5% so that I can, again, to mitigate that risk. I can also say, you know what, I just finished this work and I I did it really well, so I'm going to take that money off the table, and so I could hide, kind of, in essence, hide the money from future use by assigning risk to that. A couple of ways you can use the risk feature. And so that's forecasting. I can create as many as I want. I can create a worksheet. I can copy a worksheet. I can create a new worksheet from scratch, copy one, delete one, lock it so that people can't mess with it. And I can also print it out. This is the forecast. I can also look at the summary, which is, again, is that project summary. And so I can see detail there. Let's jump back to cost management, and we will go to pencil draws, where I can create pencil draws, and I can say, here's pencil draw number 2. And so here are the general conditions. Let's go to site work here, just for example. And I can say, these are my original contract values, approved changes. Here's the value I'm requesting. Percent retained is only 5%. And the amount retained for this period is 437. That's 5% of that 8750. If I change that to 10, or, oh geez, what did I do there? There we go. And so I'm changing that. So you can start to create your draws here. You can work with subs. You can transmit this draw to the owner for review. You can export this draw to Excel and work with it there. And you can also transmit this draw down to subcontractors so they can enter their request here directly in the draw. So there's a lot here for cost management, and we could go into a lot more detail if you would like to. We also have this, there's the contract, the commitments, and here is, so this is where we work with the contract up to the owner. Commitments is where we work with the draw down to our subs and vendors, and the cash flow analysis is where we can analyze that commitment versus cash out versus cash back in. All right, there's a lot there. Hopefully you're still hanging on there. Thank you for your time. Take care, and please stay safe and well.